everybody. Okay, so it's going to be kind of a quick video. I am going to be doing an experiment with this Fukien tea. So as you can see, there's a branch that's way out here. Let me see if I can give you a good perspective on how long this branch is. So this branch is probably about 3 foot in length. So I wanted to originally make this branch thicker at the trunk here. So I just let it run. I let it run all winter long. I'm probably going to let it run for a little while longer because I want it thicker. But the experiment is if I cut just the very end of it off and let some more of these branches grow longer, because as you can see, me letting this branch just continuously run, none of these branches have grown. So experiment number one, that was kind of what I was trying to see, if any of this would grow. I did figure out another thing. These trees like a lot of water, So if you put them into very coarse, free draining soil, coarse, I mean, let me give you an example. This is what I mean by coarse. Large particles, bigger than a 1/4 inch. And you don't keep it like absolutely evenly wet. I've got a sprinkler system on my greenhouse, and it wasn't on because of the wintertime, because I didn't want the sprinkler to freeze. So I did take that apart and put the timer in the inside so that it wouldn't freeze. So anyway, I didn't water it like every single day during the wintertime. It dropped nearly all the leaves off the whole thing. The tips all had leaves, but it dropped most of the leaves. And then I started really watering it again and using the sprinkler system, and it got all of its leaves back. So that's one thing about the Fukien tea. They like a lot of water. So they like evenly moist soil. They don't like just sitting in sopping wet soil or in a tray of water. But if that's all you can do is have a short tray of water that doesn't come up halfway up the pot, less than 1/4 of a way up the pot, but just keeps the very bottom of the soil wet. That's just one thing that I'm going to be testing out. I'm not necessarily recommending that, but if that's all the better you can do on keeping it evenly watered, I'm going to try that out. And I am going to repot this. I'm probably going to do that off camera because I want this to be a short video. Because I don't think I've put out a video in almost 2 weeks now. I've been super busy with a lot of stuff. I won't get into that. Just really haven't been feeling like editing. So I'm going to make this a short one so I can get something out there for you guys, because I know you miss me. I miss me on there too. So but yeah, I think this is a good tree to be doing a short video on. So basically what I'm thinking is I'm going to put this into a short tray of water and keep it out of the sprinkler system. I'm just going to water it separately from the sprinklers, and I'm going to see if keeping it in a shallow amount of water will help. I am going to repot it though, so I'm going to have a finer soil. I've been using soil that is that size now. I hope you guys can see the difference. So yeah, and I'm gonna chop off the very end of this, just the very end, because I want to see if that'll make the rest of this branch start growing out. I am gonna chop off the end of this branch. Actually, I'm gonna cut this one back because I don't necessarily want this one to get a whole lot thicker. This one, I haven't decided yet. I'm gonna leave that one for now, but I did want this branch to get thicker, not necessarily to match the thickness of the trunk, but to get closer to the thickness of the trunk. And then the ones that I had growing at the base of the trunk, they all died off, so I'm gonna let that back bud again and grow some more at the base of the trunk to thicken up like from here down. And I'm trying to remember what else I was gonna talk to you guys about. I think the rest of this tree is looking much better than it was during the wintertime. without it being watered properly. The crazy scar right here, I'll address that later on once it's healthy and I can cut into that and put some cut paste on it to heal it back over. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and repot this. Or actually, I'm going to just go ahead and cut this back to show you guys, and then I'll repot it, and then we'll just go ahead and put it in the greenhouse. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this one back to the canopy size that I want. So this branch, as you can see, kind of this one here, it kind of curves over, and then it kind of levels out about here. I think that's where I'm going to want to eventually keep the length of this branch. I want to make this a really, really large canopy on top, like a really big umbrella style canopy. I won't be doing a whole lot down here once this is filled in. So once this is filled in, these branches down here will come off, and all this will come off. So I'm gonna keep this kind of long, but I want it to be in perspective right now, and I want some of this to start growing out so that I can get branches like from this side over here to grow into this section here. Maybe this one will grow out here. Some of these will grow out too. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to directionally prune this. The leaves are alternating one side to the other. They're not, I can't remember what they call that when they grow side to side and up and down. I just can't remember right off the top of my head. So they are alternating. So I'm going to chop it off to where it's going back this direction. So I'm going to cut it back to this branch back here. I'm cutting it in the middle of the node. I'm going to cut it right in the middle of the node just so that it can die back a little bit, because I don't remember, honestly, I don't remember if these die back. I don't think they do, but I want to just cut it in the middle right there so that this one will grow out in this direction. If you cut it all the way back to the new branch, there's a chance that it will grow straight out, and I don't want it to grow out. I want it to grow to the side. So that's also why I'm going to leave that on there. And then this guy, I'm going to cut it back to a nice branch. I've got a couple that have larger leaves, but I've got a couple up front that have really decent leaves too. And I don't want to cut a lot off. Basically, I just want to cut off the terminal end of the branch. If I could remember what I can't remember what it's called. There's a hormone in the terminal bud that makes the branch continue to grow out, and it basically is trying to be the top of the tree, so it's just going to keep growing and growing and growing longer and longer. And once you cut that off, it should allow some of the energy back in the branch. And I'll look that up, and I'll put it right there where I'm talking about it. I'll put that word in the screen for you guys. So yeah, this has actually started to flower as well. I've heard a lot of people cut the flowers off to give energy to the rest of the tree. I'm not 100% sure that that's necessary with the Fukien teas, because their flowers are so small that it doesn't take that much energy to produce the tiny little flowers. So I'm not going to take all the flowers off of this. As they fall off, the petioles will fall off with them. So I'm not going to worry about any of that either. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and repot. All right, y'all. I just wanted to show you guys the root structure on this. It's not bad. It's got a lot of light colored roots, a lot of new roots on the bottom. But as you can see, it's not a whole lot thicker yet. This is only been, 6 or so months in this pot. So it's not bad with the amount of roots that it already has. And they are nice, fresh, clean feeder roots. So that is definitely a good sign, and definitely a good sign of why it put on a lot of new growth already in this spring, which it's only a couple of weeks into it, or a week or so into it. So all right, well, I'll see you in just a minute. Okay, so I got this repotted. I did give it a little bit of an upgrade. And as you can see, it's not that much of an upgrade, but I did give it a little bit of an upgrade on the size of the pot, just so that I could get a larger root base, so that when I do put it into its ceramic pot later on, I can take off a little bit of root to get it in there, and that won't damage it. So just looking this over, I like it. It's looking good. It is definitely looking healthier. And I was also thinking that, you know, an experiment, you want to not change too many variables so that you know what variable that actually changed the outcome, right? So I'm going to change the variable of the soil. The size of the pot isn't going to make that much difference. Obviously, it'll be a little bit of a difference because it has more room for the roots to grow into, which will help this increase in size a little bit faster. But I don't think that the size of the pot isn't really going to change the health of the tree. I mean, maybe a little bit, but not enough that it's going to completely change all the variables. If I do put this into a tray of water, that would definitely change 2 variables, and which one actually gave the tree better health, we won't know. So I'm going to just put it in the soil. I'm going to put it right back where it was at and let the sprinkler system water it from here. And then we will see in a couple of weeks, hopefully in a couple of weeks. No promises. Depends on how fast it grows, how quickly it responds to the work that we did today, which obviously wasn't a whole lot of work. We'll see if cutting this off creates more branching here, and we'll see if cutting this one off creates more branching here. If it does create more branching here, that more solar intake and food intake should increase the size of this branch quicker. So we'll see how it goes, because it does have a couple of branches that are starting to emerge out of here already as it is. And the rest of the tree, I'm just gonna let that run because I want to make the canopy much bigger. I don't think I'll put it in a huge pot once I do that. I mean, the pot's gonna be like really tiny compared to the canopy of the tree, which may or may not look funny, but we'll see how it looks, and we'll go from there. So I think that's enough rambling for me. So thank you all for watching. I appreciate y'all's support, and I appreciate y'all being patient with me, not putting out a video lately. I do have a lot of them in the works, and I just need to be editing some stuff out. And I don't think you'll be able to tell that this one was filmed after those. So I hope you don't anyway. Not that it makes a big deal. But anyway, thanks for y'all support, and I'll see you on the next one.